Deal with Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Sam Lotto Inga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, it's a pleasure to take a call on this bill, and I also want to acknowledge the Minister, John Banks, for bringing this bill to the House. It was Rodney Hyde originally, but John Banks is continuing that good work that Rodney Hyde did in the last term, and it's about making New Zealand a better place to do business. It's about making New Zealand a better place to live in, and it's about improving the lives of all New Zealanders. Now, sir, the changes may seem small to some across the aisle there, but to the industries that this bill impacts and the people that they employ and the consumers that buy their products, sir, they are significant indeed. And this bill, as has already been stated here tonight, is about getting rid of unnecessary regulations and about making it easier for businesses to do business. And I want to thank Brendan Horan over there, who didn't turn up to the rugby on Saturday after spending 1 minute on the field 2 months ago. He smiles over there, but his leader turned up and gave a speech without playing the game. But we all know what the problem is, Mr. Chair. Coming back to this bill, it's about the effects that outdated and irrelevant regulations continue to have on our economy. And it's about growing the economy because our government believes in focusing on the things that matter. It's not about gay marriage. It's about regulations, about jobs, opportunities, and the things that matter to New Zealanders, whether it be health or education. And I'm pleased, sir, because in my electorate of Maungakiekie, we've got companies who actually welcome this bill. And when I go around and talk to these companies, and last week I was at NCI Packaging in Mount Wellington, and the one thing they said to me, sir, it's about getting rid of compliance regulations. So such regulations burden businesses unnecessarily and are ineffective. Now I want to come to the bill. The Agricultural Compounds and Veterinary Medicines Act 1997, which Mr. Cosgrove didn't talk about, but I want to say what it does. It provides for greater efficiency and cost effectiveness under the Agricultural Compounds and Veterinary Medicines Act 1997. What does it do, Mr. Cosgrove? Mr. Cosgrove didn't tell us in the last speech, but what it does is it will remove the requirement for product manufacturers' details to be included on the public register. That's one thing it does. Secondly, sir, it also allows the Director-General to cancel non-compliant and obsolete trade name product registrations, where those registrations, any required prerequisite approval for the product or a specific component or ingredient of a product has been revoked under other legislation. Now, he's got that bit right. Mr. Cosgrove's got that bit right, but it also is about the registrant, where the registrant cannot be located or non-compliance continues to follow suspension of the product's registration. So, sir, that's some of the stuff inside of Part 1 that we're amending. These amendments will also remove the requirements that are unnecessary and excessively costly. And how much is it, sir? It's $50,000 per year under this part of the bill, $50,000 per year. And again, they might scoff at that amount, but that amount is still significant when you think over the long term the amount of money that will be saved under this part of the bill. This part of the bill, I said it's $50,000 per year. Please listen when I speak. I give you the respect of listening, Mr. Cosgrove, when he speaks. So these amendments really will increase the consistency across food safety related legislation and reduce red tape costs. And the ability to recognise a class under this Act will reduce potential compliance costs and minimise the disincentive for applicants to become recognised. That's what the bill does, Mr. Cosgrove, if he was wondering, because he didn't refer to the bill. So much of the poor regulation, if I can summarise, sir, is that it afflicts our businesses right across the board. Some of the regulations that we've had to amend in this, certainly under this administration, the national administration, has been mistakes under the previous regime. And you laugh. They laugh, sir. Well, let me point out another piece of legislation that we had to amend under the last term. Financial Advisors and Financial Service Providers Act, sir. Just as an example, to draw an analogy about what we're doing compared to what the Labor government did. So we had to to clean up this legislation because the finance company failures were hurtful. Mr. Chair, if I can wind up. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had to. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had to make up for the mistakes that were made under the last government. So when we came in 2009, we said that we'd make two major commitments that pertain to Part 1 of the bill. We said that we would introduce new regulation only when we are satisfied that it is required, reasonable and robust. And I refer to the financial advisors legislation, I refer to the financial service providers legislation because in 2008 that bill was passed and we had to amend it almost immediately. The second part of our reform agenda, sir, is that we would review existing regulation in order to identify and remove requirements that were unnecessary, ineffective or excessively costly. And that's what this bill does. This bill amends those costly regulations that were put in under the last government. So this is another promise by the national government that we're fulfilling, sir. Just to summarise, this is another promise that we're fulfilling around reducing costs of compliance, reducing bureaucracy, reducing red tape, promoting jobs and opportunities for all New Zealanders, and that's what this national government stands for. Thank you.
Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
There's no one else but me. Sir.